The universe is like the reflection of a city in a mirror, declared Dakshinamurti. What man has to achieve primarily is the purification and final annihilation of the Antakarana, inner instrument. The whole world, along with its joys and sorrows, vices and virtues, truth and untruth, justice and injustice, etc., is in the mind only. Sathya Sai Baba.
Being God, the self that you are, Sat Chit Ananda, being, knowing what you are, bliss, nothing needed. Pure being, God. Nothing, God. God is nothingness. Being is bliss. Not even knowing what you are. You are God, but there's no one knowing. Bliss, bliss, bliss. Leave the world. Try, do it. You don't know what happens. Presence of your true self. Wow.
समस्त लोक सुखिनो भवन्तु। समस्त लोक सुखिनो भवन्तु। समस्त लोक सुखिनो भवन्तु।
Can you imagine that you don't exist? That your form never came into being? That all of your thoughts just seemed to appear and make form? But the thought is not real. It does not exist. It's not something. It's nothing. It is not even sound. You cannot hear a thought or take it with you or see a thought. You cannot wait it. You cannot do nothing with a thought because it is nothing. It never came in appearances. It doesn't exist. That means you as body don't exist because your body is your thought. The proof of it is in the deep sleep. In deep dreamless sleep. Yeah, you feel it, huh? There's nothing, yeah? Nothing came into being in deep sleep. Nothing. You can say, yeah, in the morning I stand up, I feel my body. But that is what came into the appearances of the thoughts. In deep sleep, you exist, but you are not formed. In the morning, some power pushes you into a form. And each time a different form, not only visible as growing older and changing the color of your hair, but a different form of the mind. The child is playing in the garden. It has a totally different mind as it has a mind. But it is totally different from what you think now. So what is this thought, this thinking? What is a mind? It never took form. For the mind, it is black, not to think. But for your reality, it's the brightest light where nothing ever appeared in. And in the meantime, the state between this white light and the black darkness, there is the play of shadow, and that is what the mind is doing itself. It's playing its own imagined play as to start to exist in this little baby. Mind starts to exist and enjoys playing in the sand. But mind says it's not enough. I don't know myself. I need more. Then mind grows into the ego, the separation. And with separation in the mind, there is the fear of being lost or not having enough. And here starts the whole play of shadow. First, there's no shadow in a little child. Then shadow rises up in the mind. And the mind becomes thicker and darker and selfish. And it can be a bad mind that damages others. And after experiencing that pain, the mind slowly bends itself to its closer to the source of itself. It chooses to be less vigilant and hard, to becoming more soft, because then the mind feels better. Well, it's like you do something and there's someone else who say, wow, you did good. How do you feel? That's what the mind is receiving, complimented. It's feeling worthwhile. So the more you live in the mind and the more you act to others as if they too live in the mind, there is the stronger mind play. But when you see your mind is only a play of itself and you have nothing to do with it, because you are not that mind that came in a form, you are aware that it is just only in the daytime. So funny, the mind is darkness itself and it needs the light of daytime to be able to exist as mind. Because when mind is light, it's not even existing in light. It needs the darkness of the ignorance of you. You don't know what you are when you think that this mind is you. And that's the way from what the mind is going. It's going away, further from itself, greater, bigger, stronger, more mind, more self, more, and then diminish again to the source where it came from. And that is every morning when light starts, the day starts, your mind starts. You wake up and you wake up, your mind wakes up. And in deep sleep, we need that peace and rest of the night of sleep, because we are exhausted of this play of the mind, making you act like a fool, an idiot, and searching, not content. Mind is never content. It needs more. And you step back, you in the phase between mind and your own self. There is this retreat coming back, coming home, slowly, and there will be more and more bliss, because you know you are not that stupid mind. You needed a mind, yes, it had its role. It had to take you away out of the light. And you started searching for your light, although you didn't know what you were searching. But you have found it when you see the mind as a separated entity from what you are. And then you can say, thank you, mind. You brought me home. Now you can dance whatever you like. I don't care. I see it as your play and not mine. I am at peace now. takes place in your mind. That's really true. When you see that world out there and you yourself here, then you can become greedy and take all of it as much as you can, or you can become frightened and maybe ashamed because you feel not good enough. There's so much going on in the mind of the people, and it depends on your circumstances, of course, but once it's enough, you start to see that you yourself allow all this to appear as it appears, and then you step back in there's no distance, but there's distance from your mind, the content of how you see this world, and then this world becomes love, the love that you can use for you. It's amazing that you see first things so different from yourself, and then you start to see it's only your own opinion, and then you still see that world over there and you here, and then the opinion starts to change because you become more stable in your awareness, in your consciousness, that everything appears to you the way it seems to be, because then you can learn to see it different. And then after a long time, maybe years or lifetimes, you start to see that the world only appears to make you see. That it tells you something. It tells you that you and world is one and the same. Your world is your mind. And much further, you see much further beyond that, you see that there is no world at all. It's only mind. And then you start to feel those words. When all is only mind, why do I mind? And why do I let it appear as painful and struggle and difficult and threatening, and I want to get away from it, I want to die, I don't want to be on that world? But that means that you want your mind to die, the opinion of you, and that makes you more approaching your own image of the world that you have. Your image changes. The world is illusion, of course. It's the illusion of the way how you see it. And it will not disappear as long as you wake up in the morning. You are on that world, but that world is totally different. You see it only as appearances, images, and you see it as love, because love allows it to be as it appears. There's no more mind of the ego that wants it different. And if you let it be, you let yourself be. And that's love. Now you reached the true self, which needed some forms to get lost in that form and afraid, wow, this is happening and maybe that will happen, all in your mind, but because you think it that hard, it will happen. You give it form. You form and you shape it yourself, what you are afraid of. And you can keep on running away, or you can allow it to appear, and then you will see it will not harm you because it was your own opinion. And that's what the gift of love is, that you allow that it all is as it is. And then it's no more different from you. You see everything as an expression of love. And even then the forms fall away. You can see the war as love, because people They all fight for their good feeling, to feel good and loved. They loved for their selves, for their loved ones, and the enemy has to. So that, and the enemy thinks the same. That's both parties of love fighting with each other for love. When you see it that way, but they don't, they will keep on fighting until they are developing their consciousness. So it is love. In the end, you see only love. Your world disappears in love. That means you disappear in love. It has been long since we left the love of ourselves. And even that seems to be the dream of God, of love. God dreamt himself away from himself to discover himself there in that world with wars and opposites. And that's allowing to let it be. Allow it to be. It's good. It comes back to itself. Every war will end, and there will always be people that start to understand, and they can share their wisdom with others. And there will be other wars. Of course, the world is so great. There's so billions of people who are a stranger to themselves, so they feel the others. But all of them will understand it's love. And when you understand it, you see them as moving forms of love towards the love they are. That's God's gift. God is love. Appreciate his gift. Be happy. And we are all born in the same one mind. The mind of the all-knowing God, who makes all forms. And when we take form, take birth, the mind is already with us. And then we start to think we are that little person and grow in that person. And every day again we have the chance to see the reality that we are not that person. We were before the person came, we were already in the mind of God, and that mind of God was safe and pleasure and goodness, but we took a birth to separate us, to refine that place, you know? There is God's mind. It's empty. It is knowingness. But from that knowingness is a separation into billions of forms, be it animals or flowers or people. It's all forms possible. Shapes of God. The mind of God is in all forms. And when we are taking birth, we are one of those particles of God's mind entering a body. So we are already existing before we are born. And then we forget. But sometimes, or more often, you can feel connection with another person because you remember something, and you remember your reality, and that is also in the other visible. Not when it is a very selfish, greedy person or mean, or then there's no connection, at least when you are yourself developed. There's also connection in very mean persons. They all come together and they are terrorists or whatever. They are in that form of consciousness, but it is all the same one mind of God. It's all full of possibilities. And by going through experiences, it develops, the mind develops, the consciousness becomes more aware of the reality, and when it is almost finished. The final touch is that you feel inside that you are not this person, but you are that great free spirit, the mind of God, and then you know it's all His dream, the dream of God. You are part of the dream of God, and also the terrorists and the lower people and animals, the consciousness very low and growing. It's all the same dream of God. And when you understand and you feel that you know it's your own dream, and now you approach the God inside you, that great mind, the great knowing that is in you, it's opening up now. And then nothing to do, but don't fall back every day in that same dream of separation. It will hold you in that dream. When you don't wake up, you are kept in the dream, and then you feel separated, although there is this feeling something's missing, but you cannot find it. Well, what is missing is that you miss your own real self, and not something in the world that you think, oh, that will make me happy, and I have to get that, or I need. The person is in need. Person needs, and the reality that you are doesn't need anything. It is itself enough. What a journey. There's not even one step to make. It's just understanding, wisdom. You are me, I am you. Even in the form, we are connected. And in the beingness that we are in reality, there is only that one being, and that's also you and me. You, me, everyone. All the same characters in the dream of God being, the all-knowing, the wisdom. You dream yourself and you dream this whole world. You dream me and I dream you. Lost in the dream and then found back the reality. Wow. And it seems ages, but it didn't take one split of a second. All this story, not even a blink of an eye of God. He had seen it all, and He is in peace again. He rests. You too, rest. Funny, eh? You can see your coming through, and it is all in one split of a second. That's the whole creation. A blink of an eye. It's not real. When you sleep at night, you dream of a holiday of 3 weeks. And you wake up, it was only 10 minutes later. That's real, that we can understand. But in the big, in the great, it's the same. You have been at a school, and you have been studying, and you have been in a relation, and you have been out and on. You have done so much in this life. But in reality, it's only, and if you can understand that, there's not so much more to learn. It's true. It's true. Becoming is what the person is. It is separated from its own self, the bliss of self. The state of being is what you are. Just be. And as a person, you think you have to become that being. Silly. Becoming is a trap. And not becoming is death. You are dead of wanting and dead of becoming, and you are dead of trying to reach, or you are dead of the ego, self-separation. So you are so alive, so very alive when you stop becoming. You cannot become what you are, but your mind pushes you over the earth. Go, go, go. You have to become that. Go on, try better, do your best. And up, there we go. Exhausted to become what you are. It's the most silly thing that you can imagine, but the mind is silly. Mind is stupid, mind is unaware, mind is unknowing, mind is dangerous. If it pushes you away from your real self. Don't listen. No longer. You have heard enough of that mind. Don't listen longer than that you have already been listening and lost so much of your happiness in being pushed forward. Go forward, run, go. No, that way, go. You have listened too long, and you left your happiness and you stepped on it and finally stopped being chased by just the devil in your mind. Don't listen any longer. Wow, what a relief. Thank you, mind. By pushing me so hard, you made me stop listening. And that's what you did yourself. It's your own fault. Pushing me so hard that I stopped and I refused to listen to you. Thank you, mind. You brought me home. That's it. I was just thinking about the time that we were not yet born, but already had a little body, and the body was floating in the fluid of the womb, free, no weight, no boundaries, nothing. It was like being in space, silent, all by yourself, no one disturbing. But that was you. It was you. What you are now was in that space, in the mother. And now you came out and you went into the form to discover that space again, which is also in you now. But only after all the happenings you can remember, you can find it again.